Prefixes. Example 1. Convert the following 0.0065 amps to a value with a metric prefix. So when we say a metric prefix, that means we're going to be looking at the following and first converting it into a power of 10, and then we're going to use a symbol to indicate, instead of using the power of 10, to indicate that it's that kind of unit. So let's look at 0.0065. Let's go ahead and move that decimal over. So we go 1, 2, 3. So let's just place it at 6.5 times 10 to the, so we move to the right. So that means that it's going to be negative, and it's 3 spots. So now when we look at this table, we look at 10 to the negative 3, and we see that the prefix is milli and the symbol is m, lowercase. And so instead of just writing this, we would go ahead and just write 6.5 m, little lowercase m, a. So this would be the same as saying this, but we just use a metric prefix instead of using 6.5 times 10 to the negative 3 amps. We're just going to go 6.5 milliamps, and that would hold the same value. Now let's look at another example. Example 2. Convert 24.5 times 10 to the negative 12th Faraday to a value with a metric prefix. So we're going to go back to this table, and we see that we are going to be looking at 10 to the negative 12. So we see that it's pico for P. So 10 to the negative 12th is for pico, which is also just the symbol is P. So if you want to convert this to a metric prefix, all we have to do is go 24.5 lowercase p Faraday. And this would be our solution to this problem. Now let's look at another example. Example 3. Convert 4.5 millivolts to a value with a power of 10. Now we've just have done m, which is for milli, which is 10 to the negative 3. So instead of putting the m there, what we would just do would be multiply this 4.5 now times 10 to the negative 3. And then now it's in volts. So we just want to make sure we use the right power, and this would be the solution to this problem. Now let's look at another example. Example 4. Convert 5.5 nanosecond to a value with a power of 10. Now we go back to prefixes. We look for nano. So nano is right here. We see that it's 10 to the negative 9th. So when we go back, nano, which is n, is 10 to the negative 9th. So when we convert, all we need to do is go multiply this 5.5 times 10 to the negative 9th, and then we would put seconds, because we converted instead of using 10 to the negative 9th, instead of the n, indicates how the value of this. So it's 5.5 times 10 to the negative 9th seconds. Let's do another example. Example 5. Convert 200,000 ohms to mega ohms. So let's go back. So when we look at mega, we see that mega is 10 to the 6th value. So it's a larger number. So when we say mega, we're saying mega, which is 10 to the 6th power. So that means that in order to convert this ohms to mega ohms, all we would do, we can go 200,000 58,000. And we can go ahead and move this decimal over 6 spots in order to indicate 10 to the 6. And we move to the left. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we place a decimal right there. So placing the decimal right here would then indicate that it's moved over to the power of 6. And so we would have now, have this in ohms. But in order to go to mega ohms, all we need to do is replace this 10 to the 6. So you go 0.2 mega ohms. So you drop out this part, and then you have it in mega ohms. So it's 0.2 mega ohms. Now let's do another example. Example 6. Convert 58 milliamps to amps. So 58 milliamps. Now, milli is the power of -3. So when we go 58, so converting it to just amps, we just go by times 10 to the -3 amps. So we replace this lowercase m with 10 to the -3. So now we have 58 times 10 to the -3 amps. Now we can go ahead and convert it out of this power of 10 to the -3. So 58, when we move the decimal over to the left, 3, 1, 2, 3. We now have it as 0.058 and amps. So this would be our final solution.